Hi, guys. Happy Sunday or whatever day you're watching this if you're not watching the live. But yeah, happy Sunday, guys. Um, be real. Have y'all been worrying about everything that's going on in the world? Be honest. Have you been living in fear? Because if you have, this message is for you. And I'm going to be honest, this message is kind of for myself too. But considering everything that's going on in the world, it's very understandable to live in fear and worry. But God tells us not to put our trust in man, meaning humans. God tells us not to lean on our own understanding, but to trust in Him with all our heart. See, here's the thing, when you're living in fear, it's because you're putting your trust in things outside of God. If you worrying about everything that's going on in the world and what the president is doing, what Elon Musk is doing, it's understandable why you would be concerned. But when you're constantly worrying about it and fearful of it, it's because subconsciously you're putting your trust in them. So, and this is something that I've recently had to check myself on because I'm going to be real. I was keeping up with all the craziness that's been going on in the world, but not just like, here's the thing, you should be aware, but you shouldn't obsess. Once you've learned about something that's going on in the world, once you've found out about an issue, don't keep watching the same content about that exact same issue because that's only going to make you paranoid. It's only going to make you live in fear and live in survival mode and live in fight or flight. So it's a thin line between being aware, but also being aware, but it's a thin line between being aware and being obsessive and constantly keeping up with the news. Like, I don't even watch the news, but we pretty much still get the news through social media. So I'm constantly seeing all this stuff on TikTok about what Trump is doing. And I don't even get into politics, but I'm going to just be real because this shit is spiritual. It's not even just about politics. But that's another subject for another time. But I was keeping up with everything that Trump's been doing and Elon Musk has been doing and all these different like tariffs and new diseases coming out and just all this craziness, the economy, like robots taking over. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I got caught up in the rabbit hole and I started noticing that I was living in fear, feeling like, man, it's no point in me even trying anymore because the world about to end soon. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm gonna be real. That's how I was thinking. And like I said, you should be aware somewhat to a point what's going on in the world and what's going on in your country and what's going on around you. But you cannot worry because if you're worrying about all that stuff, that means you don't really trust God. God tells us, walk by faith, not by sight. So when you walk by sight, that means you're looking at your circumstances. You're looking at your current reality and you're saying, man, because everything's falling apart and I'm only making this amount of money right now and I don't know how I'm going to pay this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. That's you walking by sight because you're trusting in your physical reality more than what God told you in your spirit. But when you walk by faith, that means no matter what is going on right now, you have faith that God is going to turn things around. It's just a matter of being patient. And matter of fact, let's go over the definition of faith. Because a lot of people think they got faith, but they don't really have faith. Because, see, here's the thing, it's easy to have faith when shit is going your way. But when shit start hitting the fan, then you start wavering in your faith. You start doubting God. You start questioning God. You start, I'm going to be real, a part of you starts being like, man, maybe I'm just delusional for continuing to believe that God is going to do something for me. But let's actually go over the definition of faith. The definition of faith is complete trust in someone or something. What's the definition of trust? Trust is the firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. So, in order for you to really say you have faith in God, that means you can't worry about a damn thing. There's literally a scripture that says, Philippians 4 6, do not be anxious about anything, but pray about everything. Tell God what you need. Thank Him for what He's already done for you, and He gonna come through. He gonna take care of you. There's nothing to fear when you believe in God. See, here's the thing: if you're an atheist, you don't believe in God. I understand why you would be fearful. But if you claim you believe in the Most High, it's an insult to God for you to be living in fear and being worried and anxious all the time. Because here's the thing, I'm going to be real. It is a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. However, here's the thing that a lot of us like don't think about, or we like kind of live in la la land, like, oh, it's never going to happen. But we all have an expiration date regardless of what goes on in the world, regardless if this shit falls apart or it doesn't. Every single human that's alive right now is going to die one day. So it's like you shouldn't be so attached to this world in the first place. And that's what I constantly have to remind myself of too. This is all temporary. Us living here, being in these bodies, having this experience is temporary. This is not our home. So it's like, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes when I see crazy stuff going on, or I hear about some crazy stuff that happened, I'm like, God, why? Why would you allow this? Why would you allow this suffering? I don't understand. But guess what? He always reminds me, Kyla, this is earth, it's not heaven. You keep thinking that you're going to be here permanently, but you just visiting. Like, this is temporary, so don't get attached to it. And understand that just because bad things happen doesn't mean that I'm not real. This is what God like always is checking me on. Just because here's the thing, as much as we don't like it, and it makes sense why we don't like it because we're empathetic. But here's the thing, on earth, there is meant to be suffering. Earth is not heaven. Once we leave these bodies and leave the earth and we go with God and go to heaven, that's when we'll have the peace and the bliss and the nonstop joy and all that. But while we're here on this planet, it's partially hell. Like, that's just something that we have to accept. But at the same time, not in every case, because some things are extremely traumatic, and I don't feel like anybody should go through certain things. But other things that we go through that we struggle with, that builds our character. That's not meant to break us. There's things that I've went through that during the time when I was going through those things, I was like, God, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you allowing this? But looking back, I'm so grateful I went through those things because they made me who I am. So it's like, in a weird way, life is just a balance of duality, dark and light. But I suggest that you try to stay as close to the light as possible. You're gonna have dark time. You're going to have dark times while you're here on earth, even as a believer. But you have to lean on God at all times, especially when you feel fearful, especially when your faith is weak and you feel weary. That's when you should cling to God the most. Let me take a sip of my tea, y'all. Oh. Hi, guys. Greetings from Africa. Hi, Africa. Mhm, 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 mhm. Hi, guys. No disrespectful questions. I'm not answering no disrespectful questions. But, anyways, back to what I was saying. Here's the thing, anytime you start worrying and thinking about the future, and here's another scripture, and I hate that I can't remember the actual scripture. I just remember what it says. It says, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Meaning, you should not be worried about tomorrow because you're not even promised tomorrow. You don't even know you still going to be alive tomorrow. So, what God is telling us in that scripture is just focus on the present, focus on the now. In this moment, are you okay? Are you about to die? Are you in some type of crisis in this moment right now? Yeah, shit might be going on in your life and life might be lifing. But if overall, in this moment right now, you are okay, why the hell you worried? Why the hell you worried about tomorrow? Just focus on today and let God handle tomorrow. That's pretty much what that scripture is telling us. And anytime I feel worried, I just always remind myself, Kyla, if you trust God, why are you worried? If you truly trust God, why are you worried? And if you know this shit is temporary anyway, why are you so attached to what's going on this earth? And it's like I said, as a human, you're here having this experience. Yeah, it's going to bother you to some extent, but you cannot be too attached to it. Because at the end of the day, here's the thing, it's going to be what it's going to be. It is what it is. It's all in God's hands. You worrying and obsessing over things, that's not going to change a damn thing. And it's like, anytime you worry, you're insulting God because you're saying, God, I don't really believe in your power. I don't really believe you're going to come through. So do not worry. I don't give a damn what's going on in the world. I don't give a damn what they say is about to go on in the world. Think about COVID. When COVID first started, they were saying all these crazy things. Everybody's going to have to get vaccinated. If you want to go anywhere, you're going to have to always have your vaccination card on you, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? That didn't even happen. I never got vaccinated and I never had to go anywhere I went. I never had to show a vaccination card or anything like that. And I just use that as an example that this is what they do. The powers that be, the media, the news, the government, the politicians, all of it. This is what they do to control you. Is they instill fear. The number one way to control somebody is through fear. They don't have to have physical slavery anymore because they have mental slavery. This is how they keep people enslaved, is by making them live in fear. Because if you're living in fear, you're living in survival mode. You're not going to be thinking about thriving and flourishing and challenging the status quo. They want you to stay asleep. They want you to stay asleep. They want you to stay programmed. And anybody who knows what I'm talking about knows that I ain't just trying to be no conspiracy theorist. This shit is real. But you can't be fearful. You can't be worried about it. Evil, unfortunately, will always exist on this earth, but God is greater. God is greater than that. And like I said, this ain't our permanent home anyway. Just do the best you can every day. Show up for yourself every day. And every single morning you wake up, surrender to God. Tell God, look, I don't know how you're going to work things out. And I'm going to be honest, I'm scared, but I trust you. Even though I can't see how you're going to make a way, I know you can. So it's not for me to try to figure out. So, yes, love you guys. I pray this message blessed you in some way. If you need coaching, check out my website, www.coachwithkai.com. And yeah, I love you guys. See you soon. Bye.